So, speaking of worst choices, on to story number two. We have some comments from the director of the new Rey Skywalker movie. She's very excited for a woman to finally be in charge of a Star Wars movie.
Did you forget about Kathleen Kennedy?
I think she did.
Kathleen Kennedy's like
in charge of all of them.
Well, maybe she
has been for a while now.
Maybe she doesn't identify as one. I don't know. Well, no, but the Force is female. I forgot about that.
But yeah, so she is the first female director for one of the movies, so she's not wrong there. But I guess she directed a couple episodes of something, possibly Ahsoka. I don't remember what. All I know is they had to be like heavily refilmed. She is primarily a documentary director, and her comments before I go with this, I want to be crystal clear that I am of the belief that Star Wars is big enough for a lot of different visions and views. And we've actually said that before a few times, that like they don't have to focus on the Sith and the Jedi. You know, we can have heist movies, we can have political shows like Andor. You know, it's a big galaxy.
We did have a heist movie.
We did. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it could be more than just what the main 9 films are. You know, there could be more to it. It could really develop things. And so in that respect, someone like this could fit in somewhere. For a mainline movie, I don't think so. But anyway,
you know,
so
what this makes me think we need to do at some point is actually go and find like look at The Last Jedi and actually try to find a redeeming quality about it. And you know what? I say that
it wasn't 3 hours long.
Well, that's one.
But no, this is something I think we should seriously think about, because I mean, The Last Jedi was, I think everyone in the room would agree, probably the least favorite. I don't know about you, Chad. Is it your least favorite Star Wars film?
Yes, it is.
And I think we should do a podcast where we just talk about a redeeming quality that we think we found in The Last Jedi and Rian Johnson's vision.
It has Mark Hamill in it?
Well, we're just going to have to sit down and
rewatch
it. Take some
pain.
Notes. I
Are
might do
you
that.
Are you guys seriously going to make me rewatch that movie?
I might do that at home so I can drink.
Honestly, I think it's the only Star Wars movie I haven't watched again since I watched it the first time. I think I watched it once in theaters and once on home video.
You've watched it one more time than me, because I watched it in theaters and haven't watched it since.
I've not watched any of the new trilogy at home video. I did watch The Force Awakens twice, I think. I think I only watched The Last Jedi once, and I'm sure I only watched The Rise of Skywalker once. But I've also never watched Attack of the Clones all the way through on home either. Like I've seen, like bits and pieces I've watched on TV, like basically waiting for Revenge of the Sith to start.
The only thing I ever did with Attack of the Clones is I remember I had bought this new TV and I was like, look how beautiful the lightsaber scene here in the Geonosian battle arena looked.
Yeah.
Because the quality looked good. No, to your point, Attack of the Clones is like Spider-Man 3 for me. It's just one that I have the hardest time to sit down and watch again.
I like Attack of the Clones.
You like Spider-Man 3?
I like the second half of Attack of the Clones. Let me put it that way.
You mean the PS2 cutscene? That's what.
Yes.
That's what it looks like.
From about there onward is what I like.
You don't like when Anakin talks about sand?
No. Show, don't tell.
Well, and that's where they... Okay. That's where they needed to get somebody else in to learn how to write. Because I don't think... You know, George Lucas, great visionary, does not know how to write actual dialogue between two human beings.
Right.
Or two people, or two anythings.
Yeah, he should have wrote like the rough draft of the script or the outline, and then had someone come in and massage it into something more human sounding.
Ghostwriter even.
Yeah. Or acknowledge him as a writer, who cares? But,
Actually, for some reason I thought you said Ghost Rider, and I'm like,
yeah,
that would be awesome.
The spirit of vengeance.
Everything edited in fire.
In brimstone.
Yeah, so like I said, this woman's made some comments, essentially to the effect of, I don't want to put words in her mouth and say she hates men, but I could see where one would make that inference from her comments. Yeah. Now, it's one thing, like, to have that approach, like, to a documentary or something, which is what she films, okay. It'd be one thing to do that for, like, a small side project in Star Wars, okay. But this circles back to what we were talking about last time, where this is trying to dump your current audience to find some other new one, which is just like the stupidest business decision you could make.
Well, every response I've seen to that quote of hers is, "I'm just gonna be comfortable at home."
Yeah.
It is what it amounts
Well,
to.
and that's the problem. Is it's like,
Well, at least she'll be able to document the downfall of Star Wars.
Maybe that's her end game, Owen. She's already planning her future documentary. There we go.
And then blame men for it because
Devious.
No, but the thing is like if you're specifically going out and saying, yeah, we're going to offend this one group specifically, and then your movie bombs and you don't make any money, then what do you?
Well, it's like this picture I've got from the Charlie's Angels reboot. One is an article saying that this movie is made for women, whatnot. Okay, fair enough. The second article, like a week or two later, the movie's bombing because men aren't going to see it, and it's like, boy, I wonder if maybe the first article was like a preview of what's going to happen because of it is going to cause the second article. Like, if you tell people, hey, this movie's not for you, a lot of people go, all right, fine, I'll watch something else. And then you're like, wait, where are you going? It's like, well, you just said it wasn't for me.
I just wonder if Disney likes to burn money.
Yes.
I'm beginning to think so.
Because it's like, hey, what can we do to just maybe there's like some sort of like end game where they can write off all this stuff as a loss.
It's like the producers, but like on some grand scale.
Well, I mean, if I'm not wrong, I saw the statistic. Last year, Universal made more in ticket sales than Disney.
I saw that earlier today. And Universal, and like, if I remember right, Universal's the one that's like, yeah, 10 days after it's in the theaters, we're releasing it on streaming. And like, somehow it's working for them. Disney's sitting over here like, oh, well, if our movies weren't on streaming, it's like, well, no, it's working for Universal. Like, they're making money because don't they make the Fast and Furious movies? If I remember right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you look at those movies, like, I think they're dumb, mindless entertainment, but like, clearly that's what people want.
I know. I'd rather.
And they're just like,
I'd rather have another Riddick movie.
Sure, I think we all would, but
Well, I mean, they also made Oppenheimer.
yeah. Oppenheimer was good, though.
When you think about that, you say dumb and mindless.
But I know it's not mindless. It's about family.
That's pretty mindless.
Man, Jim. not a good indictment on family there.
Wow.
No, but it brings up a good point. Why, they don't put a message in there. They need to have movies that don't preach anything. It's like, we're going to take a Fiero, we're going to strap a rocket to it and launch it into space. And people are like,
I'll watch that.
Well, and you're like, what's the message? That Pontiac made some good cars that could...
Well, technically anything has a message, but it doesn't always have to be some super complex thing and just be, hey, bad guys want to blow up stuff. Don't do that.
Yeah. I mean, there is a message, and it's that family matters. Not the show, but it in fact does matter. Like that's the message. That's it. And then there's a whole bunch of street racing in there. And like we went from like ripping off DVD players to stopping nuclear war from some hacker taking control of a Russian submarine. Sorry, that was the last one I watched. That's where I checked out. But
that's the last one I saw, except for Hobbs and Shaw.
I still want to know where this runway is. It's like 20 miles long.
The longest runway on the planet Earth. Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I get like in the very first movie when they were racing the quarter mile, they that in that moment your mind's racing, things seem to slow down. Like I get that, but no, all the other stuff was happening in real time, like them jumping on vehicles and fighting and all this stuff.
It's like a movie was like a ticking bomb for a clock. Like we can all tell that the clock is probably ticking either way slower or way faster than time actually moves, depending on the movie. And but somehow we know the protagonist is going to get there just in time, like in Goldfinger, the nuclear bomb that's there in Fort Knox. Like if you actually pay attention to how fast it's ticking, like it should blow up like a good minute before they get to it. And of course, it doesn't stop on 1 like in a lot of movies. It's a 3-digit timer, so it stops on 007. Because Bond. Bond actually didn't disarm that. It was the other guy. Bond's like getting ready to just like tear some wires out, and the guy like shoves him out of the way, like flips a little switch. Bond's like, oh, what took you? Of course, when they ask him about Oddjob, he blew a fuse after Bond electrocuted him. why I love Connery's Bond. Just cracking jokes about murdering people right and left. It's great. Anyway, so anyone got any other comments on the Rey Skywalker movie situation?
I'm so excited to not watch it.
I'll be comfortable at home with it.
And that's a sad place to be, because, I mean, even for the people that didn't like to watch The Phantom Menace, like, I still know people that went multiple times to watch it because it still was a Star Wars movie.
Pod racing, it's amazing.
And this is, I guess, Bobby loves my unpopular opinion, but The Phantom Menace is my favorite of the prequels.
I don't bash anyone for which Star Wars movies
I
they
said
like, unless it's part of the sequel trilogy.
I was going to say, I will if it's the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
I have a caveat.
Well,
I mean, I know some. Some people think that Revenge of the Sith is just the best Star Wars movie.
I don't know about the best, but I consider it the best of the prequel trilogy.
and that's
Yeah.
understandable. I would say it's very close. The only thing I like about the first one more is just it feels
The first one does. I don't know what you're about to say, and I do agree. The first one does feel more like some of the stuff in the original trilogy.
because they had more practical effects. They had, it didn't take you out of, like I said, Attack of the Clones completely removed me because like it looks like a PS2 cutscene. Revenge of the Sith, I mean, obviously, a very good lightsaber duel.
Revenge of the Sith. Tamara Morrison in green suit for the entire thing.
Speaking of that, I did see some debate on, if that was supposed to be Captain Rex at on Endor. Some people say yes, but that character actually has a name. I don't remember what it was, but
Joe Rex.
no, it was some. He had just like like the Star Warsy name that they give some people. That's like nothing that sounds whatever. Just like
like the random name I generated in Knights of the Old Republic, Lando Star with 2 R's on Star.
yeah, something like that. It's just some random.
And I was just like, that is the most Star Wars name this thing's come up with. I'm running with it.
Yeah, something like that. But they said it is canon though that he was on Endor.
Yeah, well,
Rex had no love for the Empire.
imagine not.
A few of the clone troopers did.
Well, so I got those folks out there who say the Empire did nothing wrong. Don't know that I agree with them, but
Are those the same people that call it an AT-AT?
I don't know. Those people can go to hell.
That bugs the hell out of me because they don't call it.
It's an acronym. It's not a.
They don't call it an AT.
Yeah, it's not a. What is the word for that? I used to know it. Like sonar.
Yeah.
It's not an acronym. What is that? Where you actually pronounce it instead of the letters. Maybe it is an acronym. It's been way too long since I took English. Oh, and you're in the middle of an English class probably right about now.
Yeah.
You're in high school. Help me out here.
Seminar.
Yeah.
He wasn't paying attention.
Am I wrong? Is that an acronym?
Oh, we're reading The Catcher in the Rye. I don't see how this relates.
All right. Well,
But
whatever you do, don't go off and become a brainwashed assassin.
because if that was the case though, if that was an AT-AT, that means you'd have an AT, you'd have an APT, and then you have an APT with the ATPT.
Yeah.
And then whatever the hell the thing was on Scarif, it has its own abbreviation too.
I think
That was like an M something, M8 something or other.
I think the confusion
No.
comes from the fact that
you're thinking of the one in Last Jedi.
Yeah.
I think the confusion comes from the fact that you do say the word for TIE fighter because that's also a
Twin ion engine.
twin ion
Yeah.
engine. So
TIE fighter.
yeah, because that wouldn't sound natural, but it's an AT-AT as far as I'm concerned.
Let us know down in the comments what you prefer.
Yeah.
I want to see how this actually gets spelt out. If people are like, I say it's like,
yeah. Well, it's clearly AT-AT. No, it's AT-AT. Which do you actually mean?
AT-AT.
Oh, look out.
Hey, see, that's what I told you would happen.
Oh, hey, look.
Adventure and excitement.
It's Battle Tank.
Yeah.
This box is warped on the bottom.
Oh.
My Super Castlevania 4.
Hiding Top Gear 2.
Hey, that is my original copy of Top Gear 2 with my battle tanks for the 64.
Play
But- actually the game itself is. Actually, I don't have it down here.
Thank you for watching. This has been a Geek Ball video, Echoes of a Whisper. This has been a clip from one of our podcasts. The link to the actual podcast this is from is in the description of the video if you want to see the entire thing, which we'd obviously encourage you to do. But otherwise, if you enjoyed what you saw, a thumbs up is always appreciated. Subscriptions and all the rest is definitely appreciated. Comments, as always. But just in general, thank you for watching. Hope you liked it. And check out the other videos we have here on the channel. See you later.